Coach Brad Pindel looking to guide his team and bounce back from a loss to Norwood. And I want to ask you a philosophical question.
Sure.
You've been coaching a long time. So after a loss like that, what do you feel is the best way, or how do you feel is the best way to address your team in the moments after?
Well, you have to explain to them, like, you can't go back and fix it. Like, whatever happened, right? You just got to turn the page, go on to the next week, in the famous words of Bill Belichick, on to Cincinnati. And, pretty much that's what I said after the game is nothing we can do about Norwood. Let's move on to Dedham and, focus on them.
Is it relatively quiet immediately after the game and then bus ride home? Do you give them some time to simmer down, that traditional cool down period?
They're quiet on their own. They understand the gravity of each league game, and and when you lose one, it hurts your chances of winning the league, and they understand that. And there's not much that I need to say. They certainly understand the ramifications, and they are quiet all on their own.
All right. What about the next week in practice? This week of practice, as you build up to Friday's game, another one on the road at Dedham. How does it change what you work on? Because I would imagine when you're winning and things are rolling, everyone's in a great mood, and you're just building. Do you have to focus a bit more on fundamentals coming off a loss than you might coming off a win?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, I think one of the big reasons we lost was a lack of fundamentals. We sort of lost our way along the way and had a bad night. But so it's a combination of getting back to fundamentals and getting some excitement and getting the energy back. And again, they're kids and they're going to take the loss hard, but as a coach, I have to make sure they're up and they're ready for their next opponent.
Yeah, and a big way of making sure that they're up is pointing out some of the good things. It wasn't all terrible. So tell me a little bit about, after looking at the film, what jumped out to you as a few things that were positive that your team did.
Sure. Again, I thought our O-line held up really well. They brought a lot of pressure on us, and I thought we did a really good job of picking up the different pressures they put on us. Gave our quarterbacks enough time to get the ball out, so that was a huge plus. I thought our receivers did a great job of getting open at times. There were some great catches, in between some of the drops and some of the missed throws. So, there were flashes of what we're about, and then there were a whole lot of not flashes of what we're about.
Yeah, this is a good team.
It's a really good team. There's no doubt about it.
You got great, talented kids who can certainly get this thing back on the tracks immediately against Dedham. And what do we know about Dedham?
I know they have one of the best backs in the league. AJ, their tailback, he's a phenomenal player. I know he started since his freshman year, and I think he's up for being their all-time leading rusher. He sets up his blocks really well, really smooth runner, has speed, has power. So we have our hands full. They have a fullback. I think he's a sophomore. Number 5, he's a beast. So they have a really strong ground game, and we have to come strapped up and ready to go.
And you are a coach. You just know the numbers, right? You look at the film and you know the numbers. You know a coach when he identifies players by the number. That number 5, bam, like he just jumps off the tape. But that's all you need to know, right?
That's all.
Just stop the kid wearing number 5, among with many others. Last question is just the intensity of one of those border battles. You know that this is another one of those games where you're going to have a lot of fans traveling to it, supporting you, but a lot of pent up. That energy, I guess pent up energy, a lot of excitement. You know what I mean? What's it like in these types of games?
It's really interesting because there is a little more to it. Like, a lot of these guys go to the same places and work out during the off season, and they go to the same trainers and stuff, so they all know each other. So there's a lot of pride on it. I don't think there's a lot of trash talking or anything like that, but there is a lot of pride, and they want to go out and prove who the better team is. And that's what's going to happen Friday night. We're going to go out, and the best team's going to win that game.
All right, it's Westwood and Dedham this Friday, the 25th, on the road at Dedham. And that's another edition of Inside the Huddle with Brad Pindel.